ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ॐ नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायण नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवतुत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। हरिः ओम् श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 13, Dhṛtarāṣṭra Quits Home. Sūta uvaca vidurastīrthayatrāyam Maitreyād atmano gatim gnātvāgād dāstinapuram taya vāpta vivistitaha. Sri Suta Goswami said, while traveling on a pilgrimage, Vidura received knowledge of the destination of the self from the great sage Maitreya and then returned to Hastinapura. He became as well versed in the subject of he as he desired. Yavatah kritavan prashnan Kshatta Kaushāravagrataha Jata Kai Bhaktir Govinde Tebyas Chopara Rama. After asking various questions and becoming established in the transcendental loving service of the Lord Krishna, Vidya retired from putting questions to Maitreya Muni. तं बन्धुम् आगतं दृष्ट्वा धर्मपुत्रः सहानुजः धृतराष्ट्रो युयुत्सुश्च सूतः सारद्वतः पृता गान्धारी द्रौपदी ब्रह्मन् सुभद्रा चोत्तरकृपी अन्याश्च जामयः ज्ञातयः सशूता स्त्रियः. When they saw Vidura return to the palace, all the inhabitants, Maharaj Yudhishthira, his younger brothers, Dhritarashtra, Shatyaki, Sanjaya, Kripacharya, Kunti, Gandhari, Draupadi, Subhadra, Uttara, Kripi, many other wives of the Kauravas and other ladies with children, all hurried to him in great delight. It so appeared that they had regained their consciousness after a long time. प्रत्युज्यम्युः प्रहर्षेण प्राणं तन्व इवागतम् अभिसङ्गम्य विदित्वत् परिष्वङ्गाभिवादनैः मुमुचुः प्रेम भाष्पोगं विरहौत्कण्ठ्य कातराः राजा तम् अर्हयां चक्रे कृतासन परिग्रह्यम्. Due to anxieties and long separation, they all cried out of affection. King Yudhishthira then arranged to offer sitting accommodations and a reception. Tam bhuktavantam vishrantam asinam sukhamasane prashrayavanato raja praha chesam cha shrunvatam. After Vidura ate sumptuously and took sufficient rest, he was comfortably seated. Then the king began to speak to him, and all who were present there listened. Yudhishthira Uvacha Api Smarata Yo Yushmat Paksha Chaya Sameditan Vipad Ganad Vishagnaye Vishagnayader Mochitayat Samakritaha. Maharaj Yudhishthira said, my uncle, do you remember how you always protected us along with our mother from all sorts of calamities? Your partiality, like the wings of a bird, saved us from poisoning and arson. Kayavritya vartitam vach charadbhidhi kshiti mandalam tirthani kshetra mukhyani sevita niha bhutale. While traveling on the surface of earth, how did you maintain your livelihood? Or at which holy places and pilgrimage sites did you render service? भवद्विदा भागवतास् तीर्थभूतः स्वयं विदो विभो तीर्थी कुर्वन्ति तीर्थानि स्वान्तः तेन गदाभृता. My Lord, Devotees like your good self are verily holy places personified. Because you carry the personality of Godhead within your heart, you turn all places into places of pilgrimage. अपीनः सुहृदस्तत्ताता बान्धवाः कृष्णदेवताः दृष्टाः श्रुता वा यदवः स्वपुर्या सुखम आसते. My uncle, you must have visited Dwaraka. In that holy place are our friends and well-wishers, the descendants of Yadu, who are always wrapped in the service of the Lord Sri Krishna. You might have seen them or heard about them. Are they all living happily in their abodes? इति युक्तो धर्मराजेन सर्वं तत् समवर्ण्यत् समवर्णयत् यथानुभूतं क्रमशो विना यदुकुलक्षयम्. Thus, being questioned by Maharaj Yudhishthira, Mahatma Vidura gradually described everything he had personally experienced except news of annihilation of Yadu dynasty. नन्व अप्रियं दुर्विषहं नृणां स्वयम् उपस्थितं नावेदयत् सकरुणो दुःखित दुःखितान् द्रष्टुम् अक्षमः. Compassionate Mahatma Vidura could not stand to see the Pandavas' distress at any time. Therefore, he did not disclose this unpalatable and unbearable incident because calamities come of their own accord. कञ्चित् कालम् अथावात्सीत् सत्कृतो देववत् सुखं भ्रातुर्ज्येष्ठस्य श्रेयस्कृत् सर्वेषां सुखम् आवहन्. Thus, Mahatma Vidura, being treated just like a godly person by his kinsmen, remained there for a certain period just to rectify the mentality of his eldest brother and in this way bring happiness to all the others. अबिभ्रद अर्यमा दण्डं यथावद् अघकारिषु यावद् दधार शूद्रत्वं सापाद्वर्ष satam yamaha. As long as Vidura played the part of a Shudra, being cursed by Manduka Muni, Aryama officiated at the post of Yamaraj to punish those who committed sinful acts. युधिष्ठिरो लब्धराज्यो दृष्ट्वा पौत्रं कुलन्धरं भ्रातृभिर्लोकपालाभैर्मुमुदे परया श्रिया. Having won his kingdom and observed the birth of one grandson competent to continue the noble tradition of his family, Maharaj Yudhishthira reigned peacefully and enjoyed uncommon opulence in cooperation with his younger brothers, who were all expert administrators to the common man. एवं गृहेषु सक्तानां प्रमत्तानां तद् ईहया अत्यक्रामद् अविज्ञातः कालः परम दुस्तरः. Insurmountable eternal time imperceptibly overcomes those who are too much attached to family affairs and are also engrossed in their thought. Vidurastad abhipretya Dhṛtarāṣṭram abhāṣata rajan nirgamyatam shighram pashyedam bhayam agatam. Mahatma Vidura knew all this and therefore he addressed Dhritarashtra saying, My dear king, please get out of here immediately. Do not delay. Just see how fear has overtaken you. प्रतिक्रिया न यस्येह कुतश्चित् कर्हिचित् प्रभो स एष भगवान् कालः सर्वेषां न समागतः. This frightful situation cannot be remedied by any person in this material world. My Lord, it is the personality of Supreme Person of Godhead as eternal time, Kala, that has approached us all. येन चैवाभिपन्नोऽयं प्राणैः प्रियतमैरपि जनः सद्यो वियुज्येत किम उत्तानयैर्धनादिभिः. Whoever is under the influence of Supreme Kala, eternal time, must surrender his most dear life, and what to speak of other things such as wealth, honor, children, land, and home. पितृ भ्रातृ सहृत्पुत्र हतास्ते विगतं वयम् आत्मा च जरया ग्रस्तः परागेहम् उपाससे. Your father, brother, well-wishers, and sons are all dead and passed away. You yourself have expended the major portion of your life. Your body is now overtaken by invalidity, and you are living in the home of another. Andaha puraiva vadhiro मन्दप्रज्ञश्च साम्प्रतं विशीर्ण दन्तो मन्दाग्नि सरागः कपः उद्वहन्. You have been blind from your very birth, and recently you have become hard of hearing. Your memory is shortened, and your intelligence is disturbed. Your teeth are loose, your liver is defective, and you are coughing up mucus. अहो महीयसी जन्तुर्जीविता स यथा भवान् भीमापवर्तितं पिण्डम् आदत्ते गृहपालवत्. Alas, how powerful are the hopes of a living being to continue his life. Verily, you are living just like a household dog and are eating remnants of food given by Bhima. अग्निर्निःसृतो दत्तश्च गरोदाराश्च दूषिताः कृतं क्षेत्रं धनं येषां यशां तद्दत्तैरसुभिः कियत्. There is no need to live a degraded life and subsist on the charity of those whom you tried to kill by arson and poisoning. You also insulted their married wife and usurped their kingdom and wealth. तस्यापि तव देहोऽयं कृपणस्य जिजीविषोः परैति अनिच्छतो जीर्णो जरया वाससि इव. Despite your unwillingness to die and your desire to live even at the cost of honor and prestige, your miserly body will certainly dwindle and deteriorate like an old garment. गत स्वार्थम इमं देहं विरक्तो मुक्तबन्धनः अविज्ञात गतिर्जह्यात् स वै धीर उदाहृतः. He is called undisturbed, who goes to an unknown, remote place and freed from all obligations quits his material body when it has become useless. यः स्वकात् परतो वेह जात निर्वेद आत्मवान् हृदि कृत्वा हरिं गेहात् प्रव्रजेत स नरोत्तमः. He is certainly a first class man who awakens and understands either by himself or from others the falsity and misery of this material world, and thus leaves home and depends fully on the personality of Godhead residing within his heart. अथोचिदा अथोची sorry, अथोदीचीं दिशं यातो स्वैरज्ञातगतिर्भवान् इतोर्वाक् प्रायशः कालः पुंसां गुणविकर्षणः. Please therefore leave for the north immediately, without letting your relatives know, for soon that time will approach which will diminish the good qualities of men. एवं राजा विदुरेन्नानुजेन प्रज्ञाचक्षुर्बोधित आजमीढः चित्वा स्वेषु स्नेहपाशान् दृढ दृढीन्मो निष्क्रम निश्चक्राम भ्रातर्सदर्शिताद्वा. Thus, Maharaj Yudhishthira, the scion of the family of Ajamida, firmly convinced by introspective knowledge, Prajna, broke at once the strong network of familial affection by his resolute determination. Thus, he immediately left home to set out on the path of liberation, as directed by his younger brother Vidura. पतिं प्रयान्तं शुभलस्य शुभलस्य पुत्री पतिव्रता चानुजगाम साध्वी हिमालयं न्यस्तदण्ड प्रहर्षं मनस्विनाम् इव स सम्प्रहारः. The gentle and chaste Gandhari, who was the daughter of King Shubala of Kandahar or Gandhar, followed her husband, seeing that he was going to the Himalayan mountains, which are the delight of those who have accepted the staff of renounced order, like fighters who have accepted a good lashing from the enemy. अजात शत्रुः कृत मे मैत्रो हुताग्निर्विप्रान् त्वा तिलगो भूमि रुक्मैः गृहं प्रविष्टो गुरुवन्दनाय न चापश्यत् पितरो सौबलीं च. Maharaj Yudhishthir, whose enemy was never born, performed his daily morning duty by praying, offering fire sacrifice to the sun god, and offering obeisances, grains, cows, land, and gold to Brahmanas. He then entered the palace to pay respects to the elderly. However, he could not find his uncles or aunt, the daughter of King Subala. तत्र सञ्जयम् आसीनं पप्रच्छोद्विग्नमानसः गावल्गणे क्व नस्तातो वृद्धो हीनश्च नेत्रयो. Maharaj Yudhishthira, full of anxiety, turned to Sanjaya, who was sitting there, and said, "Oh Sanjaya, where is our uncle who is old and blind?" अम्बा च हता पुत्रार्ता पितृव्यः क्व गतः सुहृत् अपि मयि आकृता प्रज्ञे हतबन्धुः स भार्यया आशं सम आशंसमानः समलं शमलं गङ्गायां दुःखितो अपतत्. Where is my well wisher uncle Vidura and mother Gandhari, who is very afflicted due to all her sons' demise? My uncle Dhritarashtra was also very mortified due to the death of all his sons and grandsons. Undoubtedly, I am very ungrateful. Did he, therefore, take my offenses very seriously and, along with his wife, drown himself in the Ganges? पितरि उपरते पाण्डौ सर्वान् सुहृदः शिशून् अरक्षतां व्यसन्त व्यसनतः पितृव्यौ क्व गता इतः. When my father Pandu fell down and we were all small children, these two uncles gave us protection from all kinds of calamities. They were always our good well-wishers. Alas, where have they gone from here? सूत उवाच कृपया स्नेह वैक्लव्यात् सूत विरह कर्षितः आत्मेश्वरम् अचक्ष्णनो न प्रत्याहाति पीडितः. Suta Goswami said, because of compassion and mental agitation, Sanjaya, not having seen his own master, Dhritarashtra was aggrieved and could not properly reply to Maharaj Yudhishthira. विं विमृश्याश्रूणि पाणिभ्यां विष्टभ्याता विष्टभ्यात्मानम् आत्मना अजातशत्रुं प्रत्युचे प्रभो पाण्डव अनुस्मरन्. First, he slowly pacified his mind by intelligence and wiping away his tears and thinking of the feet of his master Dhritarashtra, he began to reply to Maharaj Yudhishthira. Sanjay Uvacha Naham Veda Vyavasthitam Pitror Kulanandana Gandharya Va Mahabaho Mushitosmi Mahatma Bihi. Sanjay said, my dear descendant of Kuru dynasty, I have no information of the determination of your two uncles and Gandhari. O king, I have been cheated by these great souls. अथाज गाम भगवान् नारदः सह तुम्बुरुः प्रत्युत्थायाभिवाद्याय सानुजोभ्य अर्चयन् मुनिम्. While Sanjaya was thus speaking, Sri Narada, the powerful devotee of the Lord, appeared on the scene carrying his tumbura. Maharaj Yudhishthira and his brothers received him properly and by getting up from their seats and offering obeisances. युधिष्ठिर उवाच नाहं वेद गतिं पित्रोर् भगवान् क्व गता इतः अम्भावा हता पुत्रार्था क्व गता च तपस्विनी. Maharaj Yudhishthira said, O godly personality, I do not know where my two uncles have gone, nor can I find my strict aunt who is grief stricken by the loss of all her sons. कर्णधारा इवापारे भगवान् पारदर्शकः अतः भाषे भगवान् नारदो मुनि सत्तमः. You are like a captain of a ship in a great ocean. and you can direct us to our destination. Thus addressed, the godly personality Devarshi Narada, greatest of the philosopher devotees, began to speak. Narada Uvacha Ma Kanchana Sucho Rajan Yad Ishvaravasam Jagat Loka Sapala Yasyeme Vahanti Balim Ishituhu Sa Samyunakti Bhutani Sa Eva Vayunakti Cha. Sri Narada said, O pious king, do not lament for anyone, for everyone is under the control of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, all the living entities and their leaders carry on worship to be well protected. It is He only who brings them together and disperses them. Yata gave nashi protas tantyat बद्धाश्च धामभिः वाक्तन्त्र्यं नामभिर्बद्धा वहन्ति बलिम् ईशितुः. As a cow bound through the nose by a long rope is conditioned, so also human beings are bound by different Vedic injunctions and are conditioned to obey the orders of the Supreme. यथा क्रीडोपस्कराणां संयोगविगमाव इह इच्छाया इच्छया क्रीडितुः स्यातां तथैवेषेच्छया नृणाम्. As a player sets up and disperses his playthings according to his own sweet will, so the supreme will of the Lord brings men together and separates them. Yanman Yanmanyase dhruvam lokam adhruvam vana chobhayam sarvata nahi sochyaste snehat anyatra mohajat. O king, in all circumstances, whether you consider the soul to be an eternal principle, or the material body to be perishable, or everything to exist in the impersonal absolute truth, or everything to be an inexplicable combination of matter and spirit, feelings of separation are due only to illusory affection and nothing more. तस्माज्जहि अङ्गवैक्लव्यम् अज्ञानकृतम् आत्मनः कथं त्व अनाथा कृपाणां वर्तेरंस्ते च मां विना. Therefore, give up your anxiety due to ignorance of the self. You are now thinking of how they, who are helpless, poor creatures, will exist without you. कालकर्म गुणादीनो देहोऽयं पाञ्च भौतिकः कथम् अन्यांस्तु गोपायेत् सर्पग्रस्तो यथा परम्. This gross material body made of five elements is already under the control of the eternal time, kala, action, karma, and the modes of material nature, guna. How then can it, being already in the jaws of serpent, protect others? अहस्तानि सहस्तानाम् अपदानि चतुःपदां फल्गूनि तत्र महतां जीवो जीवस्य जीवनम्. Those who are devoid of hands are prey for those who have hands. Those devoid of legs are prey for the four-legged. The weak are the subsistence of the strong, and the general rule holds that one living being is food for another. तदिदं भगवान् राजन् एक आत्मात्मनां स्वदृक् अन्तरो भाति पश्ययं माययोरुढा रोद माययोरुदाः. Therefore, O king, you should look to the Supreme Lord only, who is one without a second and who manifests himself by different energies and is both within and without. स्वयम् अद्य महाराजा भगवान् भूतभावनः कालरूपो अवतीर्णोऽस्याम् भावाय सुरद्विषाम्. That Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Sri Krishna, is the guise of all devouring time, Kala Rupa, has now descended to the earth to eliminate the envious from the world. निष्पादितं देवकृत्यम् अवशेषं प्रतीक्षते तावद्यूयम् अवेक्षध्वं भवेद्यावद् इहेश्वरः. The Lord has already performed his duties to help the demigods, and he is awaiting the rest. You Pandavas may wait as long as the Lord is here on earth. धृतराष्ट्रः स भ्रात्रा गान्धार्या स च स- गान्धार्या च स्वभार्यया दक्षिणेन हिमवता ऋषीणाम् आश्रमं गतः. O king, your uncle Dhritarashtra, his brother Vidura and his wife Gandhari have gone to the southern side of Himalayan mountains where there are shelters of great sages. श्रोतोभिः सप्तभिर्यावै स्वधि स्वर्धुनि सप्तदा व्यधात् सप्तानां प्रीतये नाना सप्तश्रोतः प्रचक्षते. The place is called Saptashrota, divided by seven, because there the waters of sacred Ganges were divided into seven branches. This was done for the satisfaction of seven great rishis. स्नात्वानुसवनं तस्मिन् हुत्वा चाग्नीन् यथाविधि अभक्ष अभक्ष उपशान्तात्मा स आस्ते विगतैः. On the banks at Saptashrota, Dhritarashtra is now engaged in beginning Ashtanga Yoga by bathing 3 times daily in the morning, noon, and evening, by performing the Agnihotra sacrifice with fire, and by drinking only water. This helps one control the mind and senses and frees one completely from thoughts of familial affection. जितासनो श्वासः प्रत्याहृता सद् इन्द्रियः हरिभावनया ध्व ध्वस्त राजः सत्त्वतमोमलः. One who has controlled the sitting posture, the yogic asanas, and the breathing process can turn the senses towards the absolute personality of Godhead and thus become immune to the contamination of the modes of material nature, namely mundane goodness, passion, and ignorance. विज्ञानात्मनि संयोग्य क्षेत्रज्ञे प्रविलाप्य तं ब्रह्मणि आत्मानम् आधारे गतांबरम इवांबरे. Dhritarashtra will have to amalgamate his pure identity with intelligence and then merge into the Supreme Being with knowledge of his qualitative oneness as a living entity, with the Supreme Brahman being freed from the blocked sky. He will have to raise to the spiritual sky. ध ध्वस्त माया गुणोदर्को निरुद्ध करणाशयः निवर्तिताखिलाहार अष्टे स्थाणुरिवाचलः तस्यान्तरायो मैवाभूः संन्यस्ताखिल कर्मणः. He will have to suspend all the actions of senses, even from the outside, and will have to be impervious to interaction of the senses, which are influenced by the modes of material nature. After renouncing all material duties, he must become immovably established beyond all sources of hindrances on the path. Sava adhyatanad rajan paratah panchame panchameहनि कलेवरं हास्यति स्वं तच्च भस्मी bhavishyati. O king, he will quit his body most probably on the fifth day from today, and his body will turn to ashes. The दह्यमाने अग्निभिर्देहे पत्युपत्नी सहोतजे सहोटजे बहिः स्थिता patim sadvi tam agnim anuvekshyati. While outside observing her husband, who will burn in fire of mystic power, along with his thatched cottage, his chaste wife will enter the fire with rapt attention. Vidhrastu tad आश्चर्यं निशाम्य kurunandana harsha shoka yuthastasmad ganta tirtha निषेवकः. Vidura, being affected by delight and grief, will then leave that place of sacred pilgrimage. Itti uktva tharuhat swargam naradah saha tumburuhu yudhishthiro vachastasya hridi kritva jashat chuchuha. Having spoken thus, the great sage Narada, along with his Veena, ascended into outer space. Yudhishthira kept his instruction in his heart and so was able to get rid of all the lamentation. Thus end the 13th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, entitled Dhṛtarāṣṭra Quits Home. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Somehow we could manage to, yeah, finish in time. If we have few minutes, shall we quickly go through some of the important points that are there in this? Especially, yesterday we discussed about how Parikshit Maharaj, he appeared, right? And today we are talking about Dhritarashtra leaving. So these all come under one way part of Mahabharata. If we want to know more detail, we can refer Mahabharata, Adi Parva, and also there is more Yuddha Parva and all. But here, if one has time, I would definitely recommend to go through the purports of Prabhupada, because he has provided in the purports the different roles, like especially I think I have to check which one is that. There is one verse, I will come to that point and then we will go through that. But this chapter, which is of 60 verses, definitely has so much nectar in it. So yeah, strongly suggest one to um, yeah, read the purports of this chapter. So to start with Vidura, here we see that after Maharaj Parikshit's birth is described, Suta Goswami is now describing events that are leading to Maharaj Parikshit coronation. It happens when, first of all, yeah, Dhritarashtra was the ruler. Then after the war, what happened? Yudhishthira, yeah, has defeated Kauravas, and then he rightfully became the king. And when he is ruling, what happened is Vidura has returned after he went for a pilgrim. Yeah, we will also come across what did he do when he was in pilgrimage. It was not a tour. It was not a sightseeing. It was not what do you call this travel like as you like. Rather, he went to very important places that will come in one of the later chapters to know what. There is a whole description in the second canto. We will see that the conversation between Maitreya Rishi and Vidura. What happens is when Krishna is leaving, yeah, he is completing his pastime on the planet Earth. Before leaving, he has handed over all the signs of God to Maitreya Rishi, and from Maitreya Rishi, Vidura gets this. So that will come later. So here we can see that Vidura, after his traveling, he comes to Hastinapur, and when he comes to Hastinapur, it's a great delight for everyone. And in that great delight, I think there is, I think it is it which verse quickly, 3 to 5. Yeah, I think it was for the fourth or fifth one of this purport. You can see there is a whole description about who is Vidura, who is Yudhishthira, who is Kunti, and who is Gandhari, who is Draupadi. So all the characters, yeah, whoever were very eager to receive Vidura Mahatma, so is described, and one can go through that. So then, out of great affection, prema bhashpaugam, they cried out of great anxiety and separation that they were. And Maharaj Yudhishthir then offered a seat and reception, and he fed him sumptuously. He gave time to rest, and after that, with all, so he is now meeting Vidura Mahatma, and then he is asking, he is telling that hey, you are such a great uncle, you are very partial to us. Hmm. You are very partial, like the wings of a bird is protecting from all calamities. Yeah, this is how it protects. If someone wants to attack, it is the wings through which it will. Yeah, wings are also hands, right? So for the birds, so so you were guarding us against all calamities, huh? And yeah, he brings that two incidents. One is the poisoning, other one is the burning. Poisoning is when I think Bhima Dev was uh, uh, fed food which is poisoned at that time, and then there is this Laksha Graha, yeah, in Varanavata. In that place, there is the very wonderful palace that was built made of wax, which is flammable, and it is Vidra who said. that be careful, yeah. And because he could not so directly tell, because everyone was seeing, so he has indirectly given a hint that the place where you are going is dangerous. He said, um, um, a weapon can be more stronger than a sharp weapon made of metal, even if it is not as that hard as that. It can be very, very soft. So that hint gave Yudhishthira Maharaj to think again and again, and then he came up to understand that the place where he is going is a place of something which is flammable. Anyway, so these are few details. Yeah, these are also mentioned, I think, in the purports Prabhupada provides. So then it goes further. Devotees like you are holy places personified. This is what we can understand from this. Who is Mahatma Vidura? He is not ordinary. We may see from Mahabharata, we can see that he is son of a Shudrani. And that's why he said, when it was mm, discussed who is suitable to become the king of Hastinapura, because Dhritarashtra was blind from birth, and Pandu was not healthy that he can live long. It was Vidura who can, but because Vyasadev has uh, conceived through a Shudrani, Mahatma Vidura. That's why he doesn't, but he is well versed. He is well versed in all, and it is said that he is a great devotee. He is a great devotee. Vidha Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani Swanta Stena Gadabrata. It says that you purify the holy places because you carry the Lord within your heart. So it means that what is a temple, what is a tirtha? Where the Lord is residing and where Lord is present. And a devotee always carries the Lord in his heart. So which means a devotee is also a tirtha. This is what here Yudhishthira is saying. The Dwaraka Vasis are also always wrapped in service of Sri Krishna. Are they happy? This question caused little turmoil in the heart of Vidura, and he could not say that causes more pain to Yudhishthira or to the Pandavas. That's why he didn't say. And of course, he was just saying indirectly that the time is so critical. It is very, very difficult. The power of insurmountable time overcomes the intoxicated and attached householders. Uh, and then indirectly he mean to say that yeah, Yadus they end up in fighting among themselves, and this is because of the time factor. It is not because of karma factor, but time factor. Knowing that this time is approaching, Vidura spoke to Dhritarashtra. After that, he started telling to Dhritarashtra that, hey, what are you doing here? He's saying, please get out of here immediately. Uh, this is very important. Otherwise, we can also see when Narada Muni goes to Prachina Barhisha, he doesn't want to give Prachina Barhi any more time. Otherwise, mind can always want to enjoy more and more, all comforts to the last minute. And we may miss out the most important duty, which is actually to practice devotion. So Vidura, he went to his brother and he said, "Hey Rajan." Why did he call Rajan is sarcastical? He say, "Hey, do you think really are you Raj King?" So indirectly, when he addressed him as Rajan, he said, "Please get out of this place. Just see how fearful time has overtaken you." So there is no remedial measure for this. It is not that by enjoying more, sometimes we may have the spirit, now let me enjoy more, little more, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 1 hour, and we would like to enjoy more of, for example, sleeping, or for example, of watching something or whatever. So here is saying time doesn't stop for anyone. Fearful death cannot be counteracted by anyone. Pratikriya na yasyeha kutaschit karhichit prabho sa esha bhagavan kala. Bhagavan Kala is saying this Supreme Lord as Kala who has approached us. Sarvesham na samagataham. Death cannot be contracted by anyone. Everyone dies. So he's telling to Dhritarashtra that. And then power of time is so that the time forces everyone to surrender everything. Forget about uh, we may earn lifelong to build wealth, honor, children, land, home, and even one's life, everything will be gone when the time comes. And Vidura is telling to renounce. In all these nice verses, he's saying, all your relatives died. Your father, brother, everyone died. And the symptoms of old age, hmm, you are blind from birth, and now you can hardly hear. And not only that, your memory is not so strong. You have loose teeth, your digestion is weak, and you are coughing mucus, and still you are attached. That is nature. Yeah, we when I went through this verse, I remember about this Shankaracharya saying, "Angam galitam phalitam mundam angam galitam phalitam mundam ruddho yapi gruhatva dandam tadapi munchati asha pindam." So these desires are so strong that in spite of all these symptoms, which are old age symptoms, still one want to live. And he's saying, astonished to urge to live is so. How powerful are the hopes of living being to continue his life? You are living like a household dog, taking food from Bhima. So your desire is so that you are even ready to, even if there is so much, what do you call this? Um, Respect. Uh, I think if it will come here, I think Dhira, if is one who goes to a remote, no, unwilling honor. Yeah, it is said, 25th verse, despite your unwillingness to die, but to remain alive at the cost of honor, death is approaching you. Even if you want, forget about some people, whatever may they say, let them say. Uh, Even if they don't respect me, even if they disrespect me, even if they talk bad about me, no problem. If still I want to live, so that for that, let me take shelter of the Pandavas whom I have killed, tried to kill. So, despite your unwillingness to die, but to remain alive at the cost of honor, death, that is what is called Kripana. You are very miser. Whereas Dhira is one who goes to a remote place and freed from all obligations, quit his material body when it has become useless. So Narottama means the first class man. Who is the first class man? One who leaves home and develops indifference to material attachment. Yeah, swakat parato veha jata nirveda atmavan hridi kritva harim gehat hmm, pravrajet sa narottamaha. You have not become an narottam, therefore at least become dhira, become undisturbed, leave for the north. And with this, in before Kali Yuga is approaching, he's saying, what is that means? Maybe people may change. Maybe the respect that you're getting now, you may not get tomorrow. Why you want to be insulted? Get out and go to the north and then practice. Yeah, austerity, he says. And saying so, Dhritarashtra left home. Draupadi also, yeah, not Draupadi, Gandhari also followed her husband to Himalaya at her own risk. It was not forced. Dhritarashtra has accepted Vanaprastha. This is very important. Of course, though he needed a push, and we hope when we are struck, let that push come so that we also take that daring step in our life. Therefore, his wife was allowed to remain as a voluntary servitor, but in sannyas stage, no wife can stay with her former husband. Yudhishthira discovers that they have departed, and after that he feels very sad and he asks Sanjaya, and Sanjaya is saying, "Oh, why are you thinking you are mm, uh, why do you think that you were cheated? In fact, I was cheated here. Huh? All these years I have been serving my master Dhritarashtra so loyally, and when they left, especially for this great plan, they didn't even tell me, huh? They didn't tell where they're going. Then Narad Muni, when all this were discussed, Narad Muni approached, and Maharaj Yudhishthira asked Narad Muni, and Narad Muni dispels Yudhishthira's illusion, because Yudhishthira was feeling, hey, it's all because of me, and because of me, because I have killed his sons, because I have not taken care of them at home. That's why they left. It's all bad on me. No, Narada is clarifying. Everyone is under the Lord's control. Yad Ishvara Vasham Gata Jagat. He is the leader of all. He brings the living entities together and disperses them. So do not lament. So he says further, a cow is bound by a rope through its nose. Similarly, human beings are bound by Vedic injunctions, which are the Supreme Lord's orders. So, Vedic injunction is so important. Only when we follow that, then we are devotees. When we do not care, still this is so strong that when once the rope is there tied, a cow has to surrender. So, one has to willingly or unwillingly have to surrender. Hmm? A player sets up and disperses playthings. Yata kridopaskaranam samyoga vigama iha. So when one wants to build something, he brings all the necessary things to play. And after the play is over, he just dismantles. Similarly, the Lord is playing so that he brings people together. And then after the job is done, out of his supreme will, he disperses them. So, lamentation separation is only due to illusion. Whether you may think that, how can I give up your anxiety due to ignorance? You are now thinking of how they helpless and poor creatures will exist without you. Forget about it. It is said, I'm just looking for a, yeah, we'll go. How can anyone protect others? Hmm? When he himself is in the jaws of serpent, how can he protect? Because this is everyone is under the influence of kala, karma, and guna modes of nature. Kala, karma, gunadhino, they adhin. Adhin means under, subordinate to these things. Kala, karma, guna, adhina, dehoyam pancha bhautikaha. Katham anyastu Gopayet Sarpa Grasto Yatha. So, in this way, there is nothing one can really do. And Yudhishthira might ask, what about Dhritarashtra's maintenance? What about the danger of animals? Uh, Ahastani Sahasranam. This is very important, usually also quoted often. Ahastani Sahastani means the handless are prey for those which have hands. Apadani chatuspadam means what don't have legs will be prey for one which have four legs. And then Falguni tatra mahatam means Falguni. Um, Falgu means fake or not strong, weak. The weak are the subsistence of the strong. Jivo jivasya jivanam. One living being is food for another. And this is what, who is that? Who is that? Darwin's theory. What is it saying? Fittest, what is it? Survival of the
Survival
fittest.
of the fittest. Yeah.
Yeah. See, where does it come? He has studied and he has rejected. So, and he says, focus only on the Supreme, who is one without second, who manifests himself by different energies, kala, karma, etc., and who is both within and without. He is in the form of Paramatma, he is in the form of Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Understand his mission and then patiently follow his plan. And in this way, the Lord has completed his duties to help demigods and now awaits what remains. Annihilation of Yadus is pending. So this is what Narada Muni is saying. You Pandavas may wait as long as he is there on earth. Narada reveals the future movements of Dhritarashtra is very important and concludes here he says, your uncles and aunt have gone to Himalayas to Saptasrota and there Dhritarashtra has performed Ashtanga Yoga, controlled his mind and free from thoughts of family, Vigatai Shanaha, absorbed in Lord Hari, Hari Bhavanaya, immunity for contamination of three modes, and after that he is saying, Narad Muni is saying, on the fifth day from now, he may merge into the Supreme Being, realizing his qualitative oneness with him. Since Yudhishthira may try to bring Dhritarashtra back, Narada says, do not be an obstacle. Antaraya, don't be. And in case Yudhishthira tries to go there by burning the body, Narada tells him that Dhritarashtra will burn his own body. Swam. In this yoga practice, he will burn himself. Not only he will burn, the ashrama, the hut that he is staying will be burned. And he says, and Gandhari willingly will enter that with firm determination and says, chaste Gandhari will undergo sati rites in the fire of her husband's body together with the hut. And Saying so, he says, I will go and bring Vidura back. And in this way, then Vidura will go for pilgrimage, both delighted and aggrieved at seeing his astonishing events. And why is Vidura was astonished is to see Dhritarashtra's transformation. This is very important point. After all this happens, Vidura seeing that hey, how his brother was so determined to perform the yoga and attain perfection, for that he was astonished. But at the same time, he was sorry that he did not become a pure devotee. Dhritarashtra, being an offender, attained only liberation, not prema. This is very important. Saying this, Narad Muni he left, and Mother Yudhishthira kept his instruction in his heart and was freed from all lamentation. Thank you very much for your extra time. Hare Krishna. Any thoughts or any words? How was this? Seems everyone is on mute or
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji. It's very nice to hear what happened after.
Mhm. Yeah, as I said that yeah, if one gets time till tomorrow, you can also read through the purports. Very nice. I mean, I definitely cannot cover you. I think if I remember well, when we did reading of this chapter 3 or 4 years back, we split it into two parts and covered in 2 hours, I think, if I'm not wrong. If we would have had one session, definitely it was 2 hours, and that we covered in 40 minutes. Yeah, so we missed quite some cream there. So yeah, feel free to read.
And Prabhuji, here Yadu dynasty was finished meant Lord Krishna had
Yeah, yeah.
departed.
There is actually two things. One is that Vidura already went through this. Yeah, he knows that there was already people, Yadus were fighting, and he also knows what happened there, but he didn't share to Pandavas, and they left. And Narad Muni is saying what happens as of incidents that will take place. He is just telling that. So there's a two conversations from two persons, and one is saying indirectly, and other one is also saying indirectly, so that the Pandavas are not aggrieved directly.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Mhm. Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, then thank you very much for your time. So tomorrow we'll have a next session, which will be about that's also about, I think, Krishna departure, I think, if I'm not wrong. The disappearance of Lord Krishna. Yeah. So we'll know more there. Yeah. Hare Krishna then. Vanchakalpatarabhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, शिल प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णव वृंद की जय, नामाचार्य शिल हरिदास ठाकुर की जय, जय गौर प्रेमानंदी। हरि
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji.